approached me with the idea of forming the RC in late 2005 or early 2006. So what got us to that point?
That sounds about right. So let me think. I moved. Everything in my life has been sort of anchored by moves. Where was I living at any given time? So that was about a year after I'd moved. We were playing it. We were traveling. We'd go to Geneva for pro tours and Charleston, stuff like that. Um, and I remember I was introduced to it. I'm pretty sure by Duncan McGregor.
Hmm.
Spoiler. We'll get back to that. Um, but we'd been playing it, built some decks. We had that crazy Judge Breaker deck. I brought it, brought decks to Pro Tours a few times, and I'd read that article that you'd written on Star City Games. I think with the Solkanar deck list, if I remember correctly. And
Yeah, it
people,
was there. Lord of Tressorhorn.
that's the one, Lord of Stressorhorn. It was the competition,
Yeah,
I think. Was that the competition one
yeah,
where you asked people to submit decks? That was like early
yeah.
days.
That was April 2004, and yeah, I wrote that article and it's like here's basically the format, and you know now send me your deck list, and I think I got maybe 30 something submissions. 29 of them were pretty much identical, and there were three kind of cool ones. So we picked a winner from the cool ones, and I think the card that flipped me over was Hivis of the Scale.
Yes, that dragon must die. Yeah, no, it was cool, and that was sort of like I was out of school then. I was working at Sick Kids, and still had access to all the resources from undergrad for making web pages and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, people keep asking about like what's a good idea, what's legal. This is, to be fair. I don't know if you want to talk about this later, but this is back in like the early days where things like 200 life divided by the number of players was your
Yep.
starting life total, and stuff was confusing, and but everybody wanted to play. So people kept asking me on the Pro Tour, like, okay, well, what can I play? What can I do? Paul Dickinson would break things in half. Um, and so I was like, let's put some stuff up on a web page. And like, I basically, I think I messaged you originally because I was like, hey, this is a chance to talk to a level five, uh, and make myself noticed as a judge. So I sort
Right.
of messaged you there and said, hey, let's. There's a bunch of people who are, people keep asking me, why don't we put it up online? And I think we'd been rolling, like you said, for a year or two at that point. The games have been going on. Let's make
Mhm.
it public, help people find the information, um, and start talking about like what is actually going on. I talked
I'm
to
pretty sure. You said things are anchored in time. I'm pretty sure that you pinging me was after Pro Tour Atlanta, and that was definitely 2005.
that sounds right. It might have also been the Worlds in Atlanta though, but I don't know which one that. I think it was after an Atlanta event because I remember that was that really cool dinner we went out for. Um, but it was one of those events, and I'd been reading a lot on and off about Five Color,
Uh-huh.
which was this other sort of big deck casual format at the time, and how they administered it, and how things, what went well, what went poorly, choices they made. But it was clear that having a governing body was not just a regulatory advantage in terms of talking about like making decisions. It was a marketing advantage. Having
Yep.
a body that was running it made it seem more official. So the combination of web page and stuff. And let's be fair, that early web page was pretty bad, but whatever. I've always unfortunately concentrated on here's the content, here's the information you
Yep.
need. It doesn't need to be pretty, does it?
No.
Bad.
Well, it wasn't for the longest time. I mean, we just late last year we up finally updated the official webpage, but yeah, some people, to include good friends, used to call it the GeoCities webpage.
Well, before even that, I actually made the mistake at one point. I want to say it was around 2011, 2012 or so, of trying to make it look good, which is, when we started having access to more like, image assets and stuff, and trying to like put pictures and styles and art. And we spun up the forum and stuff. Before that, it was literally black text on white background with like a little bit of like folding, unfolding to hide, the paragraphs. But by
Right.
and large, yeah, it was literally black text. Here's a list of cards. Here's some thoughts. Here's some optional rules. Here's how to make your league, because of course back then everything was a league.
Oh yeah, even we there was a sign up sheet for reserving a general at a pro tour.
Yes. If you wanted to play at the Pro Tour games, you needed a unique general. Nobody else could be playing that general.
And right, if they had it in their deck, they had to take it out.
Yeah. It was cool. I remember somebody was like, "Wait, if I put a bunch of legends in my deck, can I then thin my deck down to like 90 cards by taking out all the ones the other people are playing?" That might have been like the first time I was like, "Huh, people are gonna try and okay, all right."
Gamer's gonna game, man. Gamer's gonna game.
So we did that, and we got it spun up, and then you and I basically said, "All right, like, who's good at this? Who should we talk to? Who should we bring in?"